Hey, me again. Meow! Huples Cat Productions. All of the stuff I've used, I'm conserving. All of it. We really can't just throw stuff out if we're in a situation of a national emergency, a global emergency. So these are the gloves I used, and to reuse I'm just doing this. I know they're not contaminated. Now this is the kind of thing that we all have to start getting into our heads. Single use doesn't apply anymore. It really doesn't. Meow! Huples cat. Coffee. Canada doesn't grow much coffee. That's got me concerned. I should have enough to get me through the next 6 months, but I'm going to have to conserve it, so I'm using little cups and not drinking as much. This is improvised PPE for the non-medic or the medic without hospital gear. Hospital gear is always going to be preferable. I'm not recommending you use improvised gear at all. If you catch it and die because you follow my advice, tough. I don't have any money anyway. So one of the things people have come up with a lot is saying protect your feet or you're out of shoes with bread plastic bags. And although that makes absolute sense in a condition of Ebola if you don't have rubber boots, it doesn't make any sense here at all, and I'll tell you why. In the healthcare field, what me and Kitty are doing right now, and I've touched on this in a video or two, is we're changing our shoes. When we leave the car in the car parking lot, we take off our regular shoes and then we put hospital shoes on that we have, and then we change them again in the morning. And there's no reason why you can't be doing that now, either inside your house or just outside your house. There's no reason at all why you can't have outdoor shoes, so if you accidentally pick up viral material on the shoe, on the bottom of the shoe, you don't actually track it into the house. That's what you don't want to do. So I don't really recommend these. I think they're kind of silly, they're not going to last too long, and they're going to be uncomfortable, and frankly they might put you at risk from slipping, and I don't think is required. Most people have more than one pair of shoes, do this. If this was Ebola and people were vomiting and spewing blood all over the streets, then I would use rubber boots, not plastic bags. So gloves is an interesting one. Most people by now have got lots of these. Are these running out in the stores? I wouldn't be surprised if they are. These are really nice if you know you're looking after a COVID person. The reason being they're quite long, right? So you're actually doing much more of a protection on this side. So this is actually something that would definitively, unless you've got tons of money and don't care about the planet, you would definitively use high strong bleach solution to reuse these. Bright colours, you can see them coming to your face, you can see it. So you don't care how dirty these get, you just don't want to touch your face with it, or your clothing with it, or scratch yourself with it, right? Once you put the gloves on, the gloves are on because the rest of the world, not just the person or the dog, is contaminated. Keep them in front of you, use them for designated purposes. Should you be using gloves in grocery stores? Yeah, unless you're an idiot. Sorry. You can wash your hands a lot. It's hard to actually wash your hands on the go and not contaminate yourself, but by saying, hey, my hands are contaminated until I take these gloves off, is actually by far the better way of doing it. And I would recommend you have some strong solid rubber gloves like this. I would recommend after you've bleached and tested them that if you have enough of them you would fill them with water and make sure they're intact. If they're not intact, put them in a box marked if I have nothing else to use. Again, don't just throw them out because there's a little cut here. Don't use them unless you have no other choice. It might get that bad. But then why are you using rubber gloves? We're heading into the hot part of the year in Northern Hemisphere. They're quite difficult and sweaty under these things. What about general gardening gloves? If you have a multi-pack or several multi-packs of gardening gloves, like I sensibly have, what you can do is have them on. They have some rubberized areas so it helps with the grip, but they're actually able to breathe better, so you actually have a much better thing. Now they're not as long here, but these sort of gardening gloves, again, go for the colours so you don't touch your face with them. And once you finish them, take them off, dirty, take them off like this, and then like this. Inside to inside, outside to outside. There's your gloves solved. You can also use regular winter gloves. The thing with the gloves is you want to have enough of them to be able to make them single use until they've been cleaned. In cleaning I recommend 24 hours in strong bleach solution, can be less, can be more, and I recommend that once you've done that, that you actually put them in the washing machine and put them through twice on the hottest and shortest you have, but you want to have about 20-minute warm time. You can even boil them on top of the stove. There's no reason why not. People used to do this. It takes forever, but you can. And then dry them in the sunlight, not in the washing machine. If you don't have any sunlight, what about gowns? Now, if you have a ton of money and you have access to equipment and you're Bill Gates, you probably have a whole bunch of level 4 surgical sterile gowns, and they're what you should wear. They're fairly lightweight, they're very water resistant to some degree, and they are what WHO recommends. Well, you don't have them. So our hospital's gone from thin paper gowns, which we were using because they were cheap, and the paper gown was just to say, hey, the outside of this gown might be contaminated, take it off easily. We've gone back to cloth gowns, which are thicker, mostly because we're kind of concerned about people getting infected from an airborne virus. But there's been reports of people using trash bags. No reason why not. This will actually not be reused, this will actually be single use. Now I guess if you're going to run out of trash bags, there's no reason why you couldn't put this in bleach solution as well. The problem would be air pockets. You'd have to be really careful with the virus surviving inside the air pocket. So this is all basic prepping. These are basic rain hoods. You know, you are out in the wilds and you're stuck or the weather turns bad. Put a garbage bag on. Now if you saw what I did there, I made the smallest hole possible because I actually don't want this to be wide open here and comfortable and all the air coming out. These are going to make you cook like a chicken. When you put it on, don't do the armhole straight away. Right? Go like this sort of a thing. When you do the armhole, same thing. Keep it tight. The whole point of the gown, right? The whole point of the gown is to keep any virus material on the outside of the gown, not on your clothing. And you can experiment with this. This was more from an indoor design. You can make this a lot wider and more comfortable if you're going out and about. Again though, if you're going to use a gown, you absolutely will then have gloves on. So when you're putting this stuff on, you can put the gloves on first or afterwards. Up to you. Practice. Right? Practice, practice, practice. Now, Kitty doesn't like forearms being exposed. I do. As long as you haven't got a skin break, I don't think there's any particular problem with that. So now I'm good to go. Except I don't have the important part, which is airway. Okay? Airway, eyes, mouth, nose. Okay? But I'm going to take this off now because I'll tell you frankly, this is about 21 centigrade, about 72 Fahrenheit in this house. I'm starting to cook, right? I'm starting to cook. Now, I think the easiest way of taking this off is a little bit different, and I would experiment. The way I'm going to show is the way I'm coming up with. It's not going to be the way I'll end up doing that if I have to do this every day. But what I've come up with is this. These are dirty. This is dirty. The inside of these are not. The inside of this is not. So to take this off, see what I'm doing? Okay? I'm not using sudden tugs. Having got to a certain position, I have a choice, and I'm still touching the outside. I'm getting more of a grip of the outside. At this point, my head's going to go forward and down. Now I'm inside the clean bag. These are dirty, this is dirty. Gentle, gentle, and holding breath, not talking, pull it away. And then this sort of a thing. Again, gentle. There's no rush to take off any purple. There's never a rush to take off personal protective equipment, ever. Never, ever, ever rush this, ever. So at this point, I'm going to do this sort of a thing. See, this is clean, this is clean, this. Now you could experiment with this and try and recycle these. I don't know why you wouldn't have 400 or 500 of them. You're actually going to keep this on for as long as possible, not just for one patient. And you can fold it up like this because it's clean on the inside and put it in garbage. Okay, the gloves, dirty to dirty. Again, wiggle out, don't pull out. You don't want to flick air, as far away from you as possible. So this is sort of clean, and this can go in the recycling bin. Now, if I'm not sure of this hand, right, if I'm not sure of this hand, I'm going to do on the outside at the end and take it off like this, and then immediately wash my hands. If I'm certain this hand is clean, I'll put it underneath and pull it out like that. It's never going to be perfect, that's what I'm trying to say. So I don't really want to see you guys wandering around in trash bags, especially in July. There's no particular reason why you can't get a lightweight coat. There's no particular reason why you can't use your lightweight coat, like this, just to give yourself a bit of extra protection. There's no reason why you can't take your trousers off. There's no reason why you can't have trousers for the outside and a jacket for the outside and keep it done up. And the lighter the better, I would say, in this sort of a weather. This is not designed to repel blood and vomit from diarrhea from Ebola victims. This is going to the grocery store. If you're nursing somebody who's sick with COVID-19, there's a different way of doing this, there's a different need for you. And I'll get into that possibly in the next video about how to actually create my beautiful bedroom into a quarantine zone, the upstairs of the house. And this is going to be totally dependent on the individual. So you've gone out and about, you've got your gloves on, you've got your N95 mask on because nothing else works. Yeah, I'm going to address that. So when you put your gloves on, you come home, you have your N95 on, which I probably should do for demonstration. So this is basically what I would suggest you do, right? Something as simple as this is going to prevent a large chance of catching COVID-19, but no system other than a space sealed suit, and even taking that off you can still catch it, is going to protect you. So when you take this stuff off, it's quite simple. Ooh, my hands are infected. I can do this because it's pop. Outside to outside, away from my body, away from my body, into the washing machine, or just hang it up and wait to reuse it. The hanging it up is a real problem to me because people definitely got SARS from reusing gowns. I would like you to use single use. I'd like you to keep using it by cleaning it with bleach, high bleach solution, and sunlight drying. Might not be able to. If you're not able to, then figure out an outer garment that you can more safely take off, and really you know the outside of that garment or contaminated hands have not touched the inside. At this point I want to take the gloves off. Into my bleach solution. Not touching this. So you need a cleaning station, right? And I set one up the other day and I showed you it. So you do this sort of thing, 20 seconds, they say 15 seconds, I say 20, right? This is going to hand cream as well because your hands are going to get terribly chapped. So what do you take off first? Well, it depends, like I said before, yesterday, I have this underneath this, so I'm going to have to take this off first. Hold my breath, straps away from the outside of this, but this is the real danger area, is here. Don't touch this ever. So that makes recycling more difficult. So that is why what I'm saying to you for home use or emergency use is mask on, hat on. So when you actually come to take this stuff off, I keep doing this, it's wrong. We're recommending that you take the hats off from the back, like that. So it gives me more chance to take this off without contaminating myself. That was terribly wrong. I'll leave it in. I just want to show you, you can screw up easily, especially if you're thinking on something else. Don't be talking socially to people, don't be listening to the radio, be focusing on this, have a checklist, or preferably with pictures. So the hat's off. Into the disposal bin, and again for the last time once you've done all of this, wash your hands. So that's it. I hope this wasn't too difficult to follow. I'm sure there is questions, please ask them away. It's going to depend on your likelihood of getting close to somebody with high virus load for a prolonged period of time. It's going to depend on why you're doing it. There's a lot of people wearing rubber boots, there's a lot of people wearing waterproof equipment. I really don't know what they're thinking. If you're going to nurse somebody that's hemorrhaging or with diarrhea, and some of the COVID patients will have diarrhea, there might be a place for that level of equipment. For almost everybody, including me at the moment, I don't really have an issue with that, though I do have access to rubber boots at work. This has been 2020 extremely bad terrier production. This is called nesting. This can go on for a long time with the English Bull Terrier, and then eventually, having destroyed the actual comfortable bed, and they can, in fact, in the younger versions of terriers, rip through to the mattress, so be careful of the dogs. That was not that mobile anymore. There you go, now we have comfort. So she started out there, and that's where she ended up. You don't care how dirty this gets. You don't care, oh dear.